We're live. Happy Saturday.
We streaming?
We're live, motherfucker.
All right.
Watch the viewer count skyrocket now. We're live. We're all the way live, from Venus and Mars and Pluto.
Yeah, we're live on Roku, on the DEADPIT Roku channel.
Are we? Did you get that figured out? Probably not. I know better than that.
No.
I know better than that shit.
That's going to cost money, and I ain't got none.
That will cost way more money than you'd even think, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't need to do that.
But anyway, I've been out of town most of the week.
Yeah, we saw.
A little mini vacation. Anybody that's got me as a friend on FB.com, you'll know that I've been out. So I ain't been around to do any DEADPIT shows for the week, and a lot of stuff to discuss. That's why I wanted to do we could have just not done a damn thing tonight.
That's what Dana would have preferred.
Why? Dana's just busy in there cooking shit in the kitchen, cooking fattening desserts and pastas and all that shit.
No, not right now, but
most of the time she is.
Sometimes.
So I figured, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, so kind of didn't really promote this thing that much. Just kind of throwing it out there for some of the hardcore DEADPIT faithful, and we're going to talk about some stuff.
DEADPIT universe.
Yeah, the DEADPIT universe, all over the universe, from sea to shining sea, if you will. So, basically, run down what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of the news topics. Last week, a lot of stuff to talk about. Most of that stuff, we'll try to wait on that little faggot Uncle Bill to join us, because I want to get his take on some stuff. We'll be talking about this will probably be a little later on in the show too, the Blu-ray of Curtains. I actually watched it. I checked it out. We will be discussing that. Synapse Films, our good friend Don May Jr. did the 2K restoration on this. I was looking forward to checking it out. So, we'll be talking about that a little bit later on as well. I didn't watch any of the special features on it or anything yet, but I did watch the movie. I saw the transfer, and that was the true star of this Blu-ray, I think, in my opinion.
My opinion.
Yeah. Again, we got the news we're getting to a little bit later on, but something that I wanted to discuss to kind of kick off this show, because I know Steve watched it as well, and it was one of those things where I probably would never have watched it had I not been at the right place at the right time. I wanted to watch an IMAX 3D movie. I'd never seen an IMAX 3D movie before. And it just so happened to be that AMC Theaters at Newport-on-the-Levee in Newport, Kentucky, right across the river from Cincinnati, 4 or 5 days after it came out, I had checked out James Gunn. That's right. Yeah. I had no clue. I was watching this movie at the beginning, and it said James Gunn, written and directed by. I'm like, is this the same guy? This is James Gunn that hasn't done anything for years, and here he is doing this huge budget Marvel action movie. But yes, it's the same dude, same guy that brought us Slither back in 2006 that bombed miserably at the theater. Actually,
it's a great movie though.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. But yeah, I'm wondering how he got that gig. Did he just write like a completely kick-ass script to it, and they were just like, man, you have to direct this? Or I don't know what happened, how he got that gig, but because he hadn't really done anything in years that I know of. But yeah, I want to talk about in my opinion, I want to put it over because I've had a couple days to think about it. I think that it's the best superhero movie the last 20 years. My opinion.
I mean, it's a comic book movie, but I don't know if I would call it a superhero movie.
Well, comic book superhero, Marvel, DC, anything them motherfuckers have done. Because
Right.
this movie is completely different than anything else that has come out. There's
Yeah, it's
nothing
like
else like it.
it's almost like a Star Wars movies, which I heard someone say that it's kind of a Star Wars movie for this generation or something like that. But I mean, it definitely is cool to see some of the characters from the comic books. I was big on the original Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't even know because you're not a comic book person, and I'm not really one either. But this is not the original Guardians of the Galaxy. There was one that took place in the 30th century or something like that, and it had some different characters in it.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, and I didn't really, I stayed away from anything related to this movie because, I mean, you can hear the show last week. I really didn't care. Like, I didn't know anything about it. I'm like, oh, it's another Marvel movie, you know. And I'm not big on. I'm gonna be honest, man. I hated Man of Steel. I thought that sucked. I hated the Spider-Man movie, like the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. You know, the Batman movies are pretty much the only thing, and I know I'm putting DC and Marvel together. I'm just saying comic book movies in general. Like, it's the only thing that I could really kind of stand, you know, with this comic book superhero craze. But I gotta say, James Gunn, he did an amazing job with just everything in this movie. The way he put this movie together, and we can talk about of the script of the film or the story of the film. It's kind of basic. It's very similar to Star Wars in a way. I mean, you got um, the Peter character, which is in the beginning of the movie. It takes place in the 80s. What year was it? 87, 88, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And his his mother is passing away. His mother dies. Don't want to give everything away, but like he kind of runs away from his family and is taken up on a spacecraft. You don't really know what happens, and they fast forward to present day, and Peter is kind of like a gun for hire. You know, he's working for all kinds of people, and he comes in contact with, or I guess this dude pays him off to find him this orb thing. And forgive me if I can't remember whatever thing's fucking called, but yeah, I don't really care.
It's got an infinity gem inside.
Infinity, yeah, the infinity crystal that can control and destroy the universe.
Well, if y'all put them together,
Yeah, if you put them all
they
together.
have the Infinity Gauntlet, which is going to be a big thing coming up in one of the films.
Yeah, and when he obtains that, he kind of gets contacted from all the different, what would become, I guess, Guardians of the Galaxy. And they all of them meet kind of in a prison and kind of join forces to, you know, just I guess obtain the Infinity Crystal from the evil Darth Vader dude or whatever his name is.
No, it was Ronan the Accuser.
Yeah, I think help me out, Steve. That's a rare.
He got the gem, and then he made it back to Nova Prime, and he was trying to sell it, but then that's where Michael Rooker comes into play as Yodo, and
Right. Michael Rooker's hilarious in this too.
Yes.
He uses the full blown Alabama accent.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
The character's supposed to have a big ass red fin, which for some reason they thought they were going to do CG on it, but they didn't. I guess for whatever reason they didn't use it. But yeah, and of course Gamora is one of the daughters of Thanos, and she's working with Ronan the Accuser and she's supposed to go get the gem. And then, of course,
Right.
Rocket Raccoon and Groot find that he has a bounty on him, so they're after him too, and they all kind of get caught and then sent to that prison where they meet up with Drax, the Destroyer, Mr. Bautista.
Yeah. Yeah, and they all kind of, I guess, like I was saying, join forces. They all have a common goal of destroying or killing Ronan. And, there's some interesting casting choices for this, too. Like, we were talking about this last week, like Batista. Like, and this is a pretty decent sized role as well. Like, it isn't just, I remember I was reviewing a movie that he was in called Wrong Side of Town or something like that, where
Yeah.
it's a shitty fucking movie, and he's credited as starring in it, and he's only in it for 5 minutes maybe. Batista is one of the big co-stars really in the movie, and it's kind of strange because this movie kind of made me give a shit about Batista in a way. Like he does do a great job in the movie, but a lot of that, Batista, the Drax character, I guess. All, the reason you care about all these characters is it's just such a well done script, and all the characters are so well defined in the movie too, and you don't really see that a whole lot anymore. And just the dialogue with I thought it was really refreshing because it's kind of a comic book movie, it's kind of a superhero movie, but there is some kind of vulgarity and shit like that just, you're like, wow, this is pretty cool. I mean, they're not just making this for young kids,
Well, I mean, I thought it was good because, I mean, they spent a lot of time kind of letting you know about all the flaws of the characters and stuff. And basically, like you say, all the characters are well drawn out. Everybody has their reason for doing what they're doing. And definitely, I like the CG characters. I think that's probably some of the best CG characters as far as, uh, you know, that make me care about them in the movie. Because
right.
I mean, I guess you could say, the Planet of the Apes movies has some good stuff. I mean, that's really good CG as well. But Rocket Raccoon was probably my favorite character as far as, because he had a lot of funny stuff, and of course Groot. I think Dana likes Groot the best.
I am Groot.
Yeah.
No, and the funny thing too is like Groot just says like that one line over and over again. But the character's like everybody understands him saying something else. It was like, oh
Yeah.
it's that's kind of cool. And it's funny because Vin Diesel actually did the voice of Groot. And I wonder, that probably took maybe an hour to do that.
Yeah, he probably got. Yeah, I dare say he got maybe $1 million or something for that, and did like an hour's work.
Yeah. But yeah, the Rocket Raccoon character is hilarious too. Like that's probably one of the best, computer generated characters I can ever think of. And it's interesting me saying this because just like a week or two ago,
Yeah, you
I
shit
was
all
really
over
saying
it.
like, yeah, I don't really, but I'm highly recommending everybody go check this movie out. I didn't really know anything about it, and I went into it kind of expecting to hate it, but it's one of those movies that after you watch it, you're like, wow, that was pretty damn good. And then the more you think about it, you're like, well, I mean, this is like one of the better movies that has come out of Hollywood in a long, long time, I think.
Well, it's one of those movies that, to me, it was the perfect movie to see during the summer. I know Dana. I went and saw it Friday on opening day, and I got home from work and I said, "Hey, let's go see this movie." And she wasn't too pleased about it, but I think that won her over after she saw it. She was really happy she saw it. Did you stick around to the very end to see the big final scene?
No, I kind of wanted to, but I went with my dad, and he's not big into,
Yeah.
he don't want to sit around after the credit. He's not one of those people that does that.
Did
But
you
yeah,
you hear what it did you hear what it was?
no, you can tell me what it was though if you want.
Well, at the very end, I mean, at the end of the credits, it goes back to the collector, and he's sitting around in all his wreckage, and that dog comes back in with the astronaut stuff on, and then
Uh-huh.
you hear a character say something like "What a mess" or something like this. No, why did you let him lick you like that? And you go over, and it's Howard the Duck.
Really?
Yeah,
What the hell?
that's what James Gunn wanted to do,
That's hilarious.
and
I'll
it was
definitely.
Seth Green doing the voice of Howard the Duck.
That's awesome.
Some people are mad about that because they wanted him to do other, something cool like with the Infinite Gems. There's a character called Adam Warlock, and he's really tied into him. So people were like into that. Did you see Lloyd Kaufman in the
I did, yeah.
yeah, in the movie?
He was one of the inmates or whatever screaming. It's like
So when I get my copy of the movie on Blu-ray, I'm gonna make sure I get Lloyd Kaufman to sign it.
something else though too, man, that I wanted to definitely put over because I haven't had a lot of good experiences with 3D movies like in theaters. A lot of the ones I've seen really didn't work for me, and but I gotta say, like I don't know if you guys got to see it in 3D or whatever, but
Yeah.
see it in the IMAX 3D, that was one of the coolest damn things I've ever seen because like there were a lot of times where I was dodging shit and like grabbing at the little fire things. I was like, oh my god, and it was really fucking with me. So if you have the opportunity to see it in 3D or IMAX 3D, I would I would definitely recommend that because I don't think it's going to be the same as when even if you have a 3D TV, I don't think it's going to be the same as seeing it on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, we saw it on 3D. It wasn't my intention to see it on 3D, but we saw it. Certain parts of 3D, I kind of like watch the movie and I just kind of forget about the 3D unless you're like actively looking. I just kind of get lost and the 3D is gone because I don't really,
Right.
I don't.
Well, that's how it
But
should be. I mean,
but yeah, there's really good depth and. There's no reason why when you do a 3D movie it should look really cool with depth and everything. And there was some cool scenes in here especially when Gamora is out in space, and then Star Lord comes out and gets her, and like you could see the ice crystals on his face and everything,
yeah,
and then of course the spaceship comes up behind him and stuff, and all that stuff is really, really, really cool looking.
yeah. No, it was an awesome experience, and I was really shocked at how much like I enjoyed the movie, and everybody that was with me enjoyed the movie. I mean, my dad he likes going to the theater to mainly eat popcorn and shit. He's not a big he don't really he watches movies every once in a while, and he's definitely not a science fiction or superhero or comic book fan. He don't watch a whole lot of stuff like that, but he thoroughly enjoyed the movie. My girlfriend mainly watches romantic comedies and shit like that, and she enjoyed the movie too. She said it was a little slow getting started, but you know, hell, if somebody that is not into that sort of thing at all and they enjoy it, I think that this does have a possibility of being another, like you were saying, Star Wars franchise. I think that this is
Well,
something
they've already set it up for the sequel before this one came out, so
right. But I mean,
I
this
don't,
is
I don't
something
think you have to worry about that.
that can be a strong franchise because all these guys, all the people that are in this movie, Chris Pratt, they don't really. I mean, as of right now, they don't really have a whole lot of other stuff going on, to where they couldn't easily bring them all back for a series of movies.
Plus, this was probably I think a lot of people said this was the most risky Marvel movie yet because it doesn't have somebody that most people know. This is only geeks know about Guardians of the Galaxy, and I only know about the original Guardians of the Galaxy back in the '90s. I have like I would say I have at least a year or so run of the old comic books. So, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't too surprised. I mean, everything that was released about all these reviews and everything that people had were giving it positive reviews, and so and like everybody else, I mean, I liked it, and I definitely want to see it again
Yeah,
on
I think it's
home
one
Blu-ray.
that I will pick up on Blu-ray when it comes out. I don't buy a whole lot of actual movies anymore, but I think that's one like it kind of is refreshing to see some. And we didn't talk about the soundtrack either. I mean,
Yeah,
it was interesting because you would look at that soundtrack, just got like the Runaways and David Bowie and like some old Motown music and stuff like that.
B.J. Thomas.
And you wouldn't
It,
think that would work in like this science fiction, movie in a way. But it works perfect and adds like another layer to the movie. It's like it just works and it gives it its own personality too. It makes it different than anything else.
yeah, I mean, I know it was in the first trailer when they were playing the music and stuff. It was kind of strange. Also, I think there's going to be an extended version that's coming out or something.
Oh, you know
So
that. You
yeah,
know that's
so
happening.
so I may not be buying the first release unless it's got the extended cut on it because I want to see that.
Something else I really enjoyed though is the fact that it was just 2 hours long. They didn't try to push it to like a 2.5, 2 hours and 45 minutes movie, which is mostly the case with
Yeah.
these superhero comic book, Marvel DC movies.
Well, I don't know about you, but we had 7 trailers, didn't we, Dana?
Oh yeah, there's a
Six,
lot.
6 or 7 trailers. So I mean, it was a good half an hour before the movie started.
Yeah.
We went. So I mean, that was a little weird because I'd never seen that many trailers before a movie.
Yeah, there's quite a
So
few. Like the new Hobbit trailer looks awesome. They had that one on there in IMAX.
oh well, we didn't see that one. So
Yeah.
I can't remember one movie that we saw a trailer for.
They had like a lot of Disney movies and shit on there.
Yeah.
So, but um, anybody out there that hasn't seen this movie, I would, like I said, highly recommend it. There was some great, it was serious at times. It was hilarious at times. I think that the one of the biggest surprises with me is probably Dave Bautista again, because I would have never thought that he would have done a good job in this movie, but he did. He had great screen presence. He looked like a movie star on there, and I think he did good with it.
What about? Did you hear he's going to be part of the Kickboxer remake?
I did not hear that, but that does not sound like something I'd want to watch.
Well, I probably would.
If they brought Sasha Mitchell back, maybe.
It would be great if they brought him back and like he plays the role of the of the of the brother that gets his back broken and stuff, and he ends up in the wheelchair.
No, they'd have to bring him back as David Sloan, man. Everybody knows him as David Sloan.
Yeah, yeah, everybody knows.
They couldn't change the character. I mean, be like, that wouldn't work.
People would go like, bullshit, I saw that on VHS in 1994.
No, if they do a Kickboxer remake, I wouldn't make it a remake. I'd make it slash like I don't know.
A remake prequel, a reboot prequel.
I don't know. You'd have to have Sasha Mitchell in it, and to make it the best, I would have Sonny Landham as the bad guy in it.
You want Sonny Landham in every movie.
I think that'd be awesome. Sonny Landham would be like the newest evil promoter guy that's out to
And he laughs a lot.
rid the world of the Sloan family. Let me tell you something, David Sloan. Tong Po's gonna beat your ass. So, anyway, yeah. But Guardians of the Galaxy, like I was saying, I was surprised as hell how good that movie was. And James Gunn, man, excellent.
Stick to your
Excellent
guns.
job. Yeah. James, get your gun.
Did you hear that he might? There was talk of him doing Avengers 3. How about that? If he gets that job, he's fucking made it.
Man, let me tell you something, though.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you this. I would not do that because, in my opinion, the Guardians of the Galaxy is better than the Avengers. I thought so. I was more interested in it.
I like them both. They got, you know, Joss Whedon's got his style. So, but I think they're looking for somebody who's got like a something like that, you know, a director's hand in the movie. And Joss Whedon definitely did the Avengers really, really good. And I think since he did that very, very well, that it would probably mesh up with, you know, the Avengers. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah. Well, does the new Avengers, does that come out next year? Is that next summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Wars comes out is it next summer too? The new Star Wars?
Yeah, I don't know if it's summer. I know, yeah.
Because, you know, if I had my druthers, if you will, and I like druthers, old time country, you know, fried chicken and hamburgers in one stop.
You can come to Campbellsville. That's the last one that's open.
I know. I would pick James Gunn to do the episode 8. I think that'd be a better fit for him because I thought that Guardians of the Galaxy was very much like the first Star Wars movie. It just had that feel to it. It looked like somebody gave Hollywood money and let somebody release a movie that wasn't Hollywood. That's probably the best way to describe Guardians of the Galaxy because there was so much stuff in it that you're like, wow, they would allow that. In kind of, what was it rated? It was rated PG-13 or something like that?
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, that question would be after, if he did do a Star Wars movie, is what role would Michael Rooker play?
He would have to be in it, yeah.
He has to be in it.
I'm surprised that he didn't, James Gunn didn't have Tiffany Shepis in a role in this movie because they've got a history as well.
Ooh. Oh my! Well, she's got Sharknado money now, so.
If Tiffany Shepis, yeah, if she was in the movie, then Dana would instantly hate it. So I mean, that's a give or take.
Yeah, Tiffany should have played Gamora. She didn't like that.
One interesting tidbit though that I did hear, and we'll talk about this. We'll segue out of Guardians of the Galaxy, but again, I think we both give it 2 thumbs up, wouldn't we, Steve?
Yep. It's probably the best movie I've seen in the theater all year.
Easily.
Or let's just say the most fun to watch.
Yeah, now, as far as the latest, you know, run of all these superhero movies or whatever you want to call it, you know, comic book adaptations, I think that this is high up there. Definitely the highest, in my opinion.
It's up with the best.
So, anyway, segue in. I don't know how we can do this, but I'm going to go ahead and continue. Well, I know how we can do it because Tiffany Shepis is going to be at this show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fright Night Film Fest, Fright Night Horror Weekend, whatever the hell they're calling it. They're doing 2 shows now, Steve. They're doing an October show, October the 3rd through the 5th. And it's going to be Galt House and Convention Center in Louisville, Kentucky. So, yeah, I kind of knew about this for a little while, talking to Ken Daniels a few weeks ago, just catching up with him. We really didn't talk about a whole lot, to do with the convention thing. Because to be quite honest with you, I'm kind of sick of the whole convention scene, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit too. But it seems like with this show, he's really going back to the old school. Well, not really old school. 3 or 4 years ago, Fright Night Film Fest.
2009.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of a scaled down.
Why is it scaled down at the Galt House? That's
well,
gonna be a giant location.
Yeah, as far as the guest lineup, though, it looks like to me, because you've got, right now, as of right now, you've got Don Shanks, Ken Foree, Doug Bradley, Tiffany Shepis, and the Crypt Keeper John Kasser is going to be there. That's pretty much the lineup right now. Now, we have been invited to show up. DEADPIT may actually be there. We'll have to wait and see. See what kind of deal we can get on a hotel room, and we may be there.
Great.
You be excited about seeing DEADPIT in town again, Steve?
Well, since I am DEADPIT, part of DEADPIT, I mean.
Are you?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe you can give me all the shit you promised me in October.
What are you talking about?
The book that I got, and then some of the Arrow Blu-rays.
Man, you definitely don't forget about anything. I know that.
No.
You kept that book in your mind for like 2 months.
Well, I keep all that stuff in my mind. What about, I don't know. I mean, the guests to me right now, I'm not really, you know what I mean? It's not like I'm dying.
Yeah. It's kind of all the people that we've seen a gazillion times.
Right. What about Horror Hound getting what's his name? Masson Mikkelsen, the star of Hannibal?
I've never watched Hannibal, so I don't really.
Well, they're having a photo op, and he's going to be at a dinner table.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, I said, wow, that's pretty cool. But I mean, the photo op shit thing is. But that's a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, I think that we're at the beginning of something like, with these conventions and photo ops and stuff. And it started this weekend. We can talk about that. I guess we will mention it on here because we've talked about it on the show.
Yeah, talk about
it a few times. Might as well talk about it on here.
Might as well.
We're at the beginning of the end when it comes to these conventions. I'm predicting right now because it's just some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Like, one thing after another. But the latest thing, that everybody's been talking about on Facebook, and I'm seeing people defending it now and all that, is the Robert Englund Freddy thing from Friday night, just yesterday.
Right. Yes.
The $365 photo op thing that he's doing is Freddy.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And we've seen pictures of that. Been floating around. I'll see if I can put the picture up here so I can show people.
I agree that people complaining about the makeup. I don't think the makeup's the problem. I don't really care what the makeup. I mean, the makeup looks okay to me, but the whole thing with that's the price is what is the deal.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I saw in a couple of the photos, the makeup, it looked like it was coming off or something. It looked like parts of the makeup was coming off. And to me, like, that's why you have Robert Kurtzman there because they've got glue and shit they can glue it back. You know, because if I'm paying, you know, if I lived in a world where I paid $365 for a photo, and I got a photo of Robert Englund's makeup curled up and flipped over and shit, that'd be a problem, Steve. I wouldn't like that.
Did they say how long it was? It's like a regular photo op where you just come in there for 5 seconds or so.
Let's see here. Let's see if I can. I'll put the photo on here. Okay, there's the photo. That's one of the photos that's
Yeah.
there. Right.
Yeah.
Um. Now, many things, in my opinion, are wrong with this. A lot of things. Okay. The big thing is, number one, the photo was $365. That poor girl.
Yeah.
And I know she probably thinks that, you know, she got something great out of this. She probably does. But the man that is playing tug of war with a Freddy sweater is, I guarantee you, he made at least $200 for himself off of her. At least. He probably made more. Now, another thing wrong with this, the people doing the photo ops, I have no clue who really did them. You would think that if they're charging $365 for a photo op, that they would get something more than the high school yearbook photo backdrop.
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe
look,
maybe a boiler room backdrop.
yeah, or a green screen, and you
Yeah.
have the house from Nightmare on Elm Street or something. Do something.
Right.
I mean, really. Another thing fucked up about this, and I've seen it in many photos. Of course, he's got the Freddy glove on. Look at his other hand there. He's just got his bare hand there. You know,
Right.
kind of ridiculous. That would be an easy fix. You get a latex, or just wear another glove. Goddamn, who cares? The other thing, like I was saying, you can tell that his makeup is coming off right over on the right side of his chin. You see that, Steve?
I see something. Yeah.
Yeah. His makeup is peeling off. And the biggest problem I have with this is, believe it or not, okay, which convention was it called? Flashback Weekend, right?
Yeah.
Doing the photo ops for this. Each person's photo, Robert Englund is wearing their Flashback Weekend T-shirt in
Right.
the picture. In the picture. So,
Right.
Flashback Weekend is getting free promotion for every nerd and putting it in their nerd cave. You know, Flashback Weekend, 30 years of
Nightmares.
Elm Street T-shirt. You know, for if it was me, if you're not going to wear the sweater, which I know you can't because you would have got sued, wear just a black shirt. Why do you have to promote a fucking convention that is anally raping the person in the photo? So, anyway, a lot of people are defending the makeup as well, saying it looks good. Look, the makeup, to me, it looks like Freddy versus Jason. That's the only incarnation of Freddy that looks like what the makeup he's got on.
Yeah, I mean, it looks almost like a bit of the new Nightmare, but
Yeah, the
I'd have to
nose.
watch. I'd have to watch Freddy vs. Jason again to remind myself of what it looked like.
But just we're on a shitty path as horror fans with these conventions. And, you know, I'll tell you, for years now, they've been increasing the price of everything on these shows. I mean, when we first went to shows, man, like, only the big name guests were $20, and that always included a picture too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of folks were $5 and $10. And over the years, stuff keeps going up and up and up, and there's nobody to really blame but the fans that keep paying it. So I don't even know why we even continue to talk about it, because if people are stupid enough to waste $365 on a photo, there's no saving them, Steve. There's no saving them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, people are going to say, hey, we got to get this person, and this is the only way that we can afford them or something. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's beyond explanation as far as that much money and people. Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, if someone, it's almost like, hey, someone walks up, like it was like if he walked up and like, and someone say, hey, yeah, it's going to be $360, $65 to get a picture, and I'd look at Robert England and go, are you fucking kidding me? Do you
Yeah.
know what that sounds like? If some people don't make that in a week or two, clear that in a week or two, and it's
A
like,
lot of people don't make that in a week.
so it's like, are you shitting me that you think that 5 fucking seconds is worth $365? But I mean, that's people with no common sense.
It really is, and it kind of irritates me too to see people come to those folks' defense. I mean, it's not like I'm picking on these people individually.
If it was $50, I mean, I still wouldn't do it, but it would be like, okay, I can understand $50 because he's getting in all this makeup and stuff, but I don't like it when they have to have a fucking. I can understand a photo op for that because, of course, he's not going to wear that makeup the whole time he's signing stuff. But I don't know. I will not give anybody money for a picture. I just don't think that's not how you do
Right.
people.
Well, I think
So
a lot of people too, that there's a difference between some collectors, I think, because there are some people that, regardless of what it is, they're going to get it. Like, one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, somebody sent me a link to it the other day, the Black Maria box set edition of
yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I was looking at that and I was like, and that's $100 for a stupid box that looks like the truck at the end of the movie that has no significance at
yeah,
all, anything in the movie.
right.
And people are buying it just because they they put this limited edition thing on it. Like, it looks fucking dumb. Like, why do people want this shit? I'm a huge Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. I am, and that's a movie that I'll always rebuy if they ever come out. With a new version's got a lot of extra features on it or whatever. I love that movie. That's a classic movie, one of the top 5 horror films of all time. I don't think anybody deny that. But these companies are coming out with stuff that's fucking not of any value. You're paying a premium, and you are getting shit for what you pay. I don't mean to get this upset about it, but it just happens over and over and over again. Scream Factory, man, I love Scream Factory. They're doing the same thing with this limited edition Nightbreed. There's 10,000 copies of it now. How limited edition is 10,000 copies, Steve? As Steve goes to make him a grilled cheese sandwich. But $80 for there's just 3 discs in that damn thing. There's nothing else included, but it's $80. And understand that they've spent an ungodly amount of money restoring it, but it's $80. There's 10,000 of them, and they're probably going to sell all 10,000 of them because there are that many idiotic fans out there.
I agree.
Do you agree, Steve?
Yeah, my wireless single's just fucking dead on this thing, so
you're gonna have to go in the Love Shack in the back.
I had to go back to my trophy room.
Oh, you got all your Taekwondo trophies?
Yeah, all my samurai training, stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He's actually got all his plastic WWE wrestling belts up there and shit.
Oh, yeah, no, son, like, that's your bedroom.
No, mine aren't plastic.
I don't have plastic belts, dude.
So what's been going on in your world, Steve? What all have you watched today, buddy? We'll go ahead and talk about that for a little while.
Well, I mean, what was it, Thursday, early Friday morning, about 1 o'clock, I heard a big noise, and Dana comes in and goes, half the tree fell down in the front yard, so I'm dealing with that a little bit.
You getting your little mini chainsaw out and acting like you're Dennis Hopper and Texas Chainsaw 2?
No, my neighbor did. He did that for me.
Do your little dance out there? Yeah, that's always exciting.
I watched a movie called Scalpel from 1977.
Scalpel?
Yeah.
Well,
it was about a guy who his father died, and he didn't leave him any money, but he left $5 million to his daughter, but his daughter disappeared a year previously. So he's a plastic surgeon, right? So he comes upon this scene where this stripper got her face banged in. So he basically makes her look like his daughter to get the money. At one point in the movie, he starts making out with this chick that looks like his daughter. I was like, well, that's kind of strange that you're making out with a chick that looks just like your daughter. Then his daughter shows up out of the blue, so it gets a little complicated after that.
Well, where do you find all these damn movies? I mean, I know you illegally download them, Steve, and you're going to be thrown in the pen. But, I mean, where do you even hear about them? Like, Scalpel.
I think there's a possibility that's coming out on DVD, so I just, on some of the forums, I'll look, and they'll say, so-and-so might be releasing Scalpel, and I'm like, what the fuck's that? So I look it up, and I go, I'll that, see if it's any good.
Holy shit, Scalpel. That's a horrible name for a movie, by the way.
It was also called False Face, which I think that's worse.
False Face?
Yeah, False Face. So
I remember there was a movie, like, I don't know why it reminded me of that, but I think it was called Blackout or something like that. And they always had it for rent at my library as a kid. And for years,
in the leather mask.
Yeah. And for years and years, I was like creeped out by the cover. I was like, "God, that looks so scary." I mean, it looks like. And I remember watching that thing one time, and I seriously, like, I tried to watch it 2 or 3 times and went to sleep on it every time. It was the most boring. Like, I don't even think it was a horror movie either. It was kind of like a crime drama or something.
Yeah, that was something made for HBO.
Yeah, it was awful. That fucking thing sucked. But I mean, the cover of it looked creepy. So.
Also, I can announce that Dana and I did another commentary. Fudge, what the hell was it for? Dana, what are we doing commentary for?
Married life, folks. That's how it goes. Won't you get Dana on here, boy? She ain't done a show. She ain't never done a DEADPIT Saturday Nightmares with us.
Why can't I remember? And what happened to the freaking wireless signal?
I don't know.
Hold on, I'll think of it here in a minute.
Dana, buddy, you're a bad influence.
Oh, yeah. We did the Uli and Mel's Boogeyman.
Oh, God. That movie is like, I remember I just watched that movie probably like a couple years ago.
The Blu-ray looks fucking awesome.
That's just a strange fucking movie. Like it's just goofy.
It's goofy, but I think it's pretty decent. But I mean, that's like the only movie that he made that's worth a shit.
That's
that
true.
Even remotely is entertaining.
Everything
else is like,
man, for a while there, like in the mid 2000s, he was doing like a lot of really low budget, shitty Lionsgate movies. I saw one of them called, I think it's called Mummy Maniac or something like that. I swear, it looked like he seriously shot that on a phone or something, and it looked like he just picked random people off the street and was like, okay, you're good, come in here, you're the star. I mean, it just looked like the cheapest, most awful piece of shit. Well, that's Ugly LaMel for you.
Well, he made a bunch of sequels to Boogeyman. I remember one of them was just like in a bathroom or something for a little while. It was so funny.
So, I'm getting in contact with Uncle Bill. He is, I think he's totally full of shit. Basically what I'm saying. He says he can't get it to work. He can't get this to work on here, but he couldn't have even got the link had he not. And he even looked on Facebook at the link, so I think he's full of shit. But what else is new, folks? Yeah, I'm talking to the people out there, Steve.
The
DEADPIT
people?
Universe.
Oh. We did it for all you in the universe.
We did it all for the nookie.
The pookie.
So, yeah. That being said, I guess we could go ahead and dive into the news since Uncle Bill basically is like, motherfucker, I told him 2 or 3 days ago. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm totally down for that. I can do that shit.
Just get rid of him.
I'm thinking seriously about it, Steve.
That picture needs to be my face on it instead of Uncle Bill's.
Something that we can mention on here, the DEADPIT website, the new DEADPIT website's debuting on September the 26th.
Whoa.
And thanks to all the donations, and we're continually taking donations. It looks like we're going to be able to have every DEADPIT episode up.
Why did you pick that date?
Because that's just right in the heat of the horror season. And the new logo, we've got all that shit. What the hell are you doing, man?
Logo!
Doing like throat exercises to deep throat some cock here in a little bit or something. But anyway, the new DEADPIT logo. We got some new artwork that a good friend of ours, Brad Baker, actually did. That's going to be featured on the new website. It's going to be awesome. I'm highly looking forward to what you guys think about that new website when it debuts. And we're going to try our best to have a mega episode of DEADPIT on that show. We might be taking call-ins. We might be having some guests from DEADPIT Pass on there.
DEADPIT Homecoming.
Yeah, it could be the DEADPIT Homecoming show, preparing everyone for the new and improved DEADPIT.com. So that's going to be on the horizon soon, and Steve left me on here. I don't know what happened to Steve. I'm lonely. I'm lonely now, folks. You know what? Aaron is online. Or Uncle Bill, I'm sorry. But we'll see if that old shit dick will get on here in a little bit. But one other thing I was wanting to mention on here, while Steve, I don't know what the hell Steve's doing. Who knows? The internet's probably going out on him too. It figures tonight so far, knock on for Micah, I haven't had any internet issues, but everybody else has, seems like. But I wanted to take the time to talk about Marilyn Burns. And also, before I get started with Marilyn Burns and talk about her, anybody that has any questions or comments or anything like that, we've got the Q&A opened up on Google Plus, and I don't know if nobody uses Google Plus, so there's not too many questions. But ask us questions on the YouTube page too, if you want to. So we'll be doing that as well. But yeah, Marilyn Burns passed away this past week. She was still young. She was 6, and I know a lot of people don't think 64 is that young, but it's kind of young for anybody to pass away. 64, 65, I think she was. And in my opinion, Marilyn Burns is easily the top 2 scream queens of all time. I don't think anybody other than maybe Jamie Lee Curtis could even be in the same sentence as Marilyn Burns as far as, that classic horror era of being the scream queen. And she could scream her head off. She was a nice lady. I got a chance to meet her and talk to her, and actually years and years ago, she was one of the only people that, back when we did the horror autograph thing, that her, Steve's messaging me on here, but her name, address, phone number was all listed in a phone book. So she always enjoyed talking and hearing from the fans, which I always thought was awesome.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, Steve. I was just talking about Marilyn Burns on here, who passed away since you were gone. I figured I'd bring her up, and I was saying though, I'd been in correspondence with her in when we did the horror autograph thing years and years ago. That was one of my big hobbies, and she was like one of the I think only maybe a handful of people, even in movies, horror movies or anything, that her phone number and address was listed publicly in a phone book on the internet. So she actually enjoyed talking to the fans, and I remember when I'd sent her a photo to get signed, she had sent me back probably 4 or 5 other photos that she hadn't signed them all, for free. So she was a very nice lady, and it's a shame, I don't know exactly what happened. It didn't seem like she'd been sick or anything. So.
No.
That's all Steve's got to add about that.
I mean, I unfortunately never met her, so don't know.
You're a big fan of the Texas Chainsaw series, ain't you?
I don't know about big fan. I mean, we watched the previous Blu-ray a couple weeks ago of the original Texas Chainsaw. Texas Chainsaw 3, I think, I like that one a lot. Like 2 a lot too. I mean, and even like the 4th one with Matthew McConaughey and stuff, because it's so freaking over the top, and so.
Right.
I like them. I don't know if I don't watch them a whole lot. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to think of a series I actually watched. Probably Friday the 13th is something I watch more than most of the other series. I don't really watch those a whole lot.
Let's see. We do have like a couple questions here, and I'll answer them off and on forever how long we're on here if you guys keep want to ask us questions and stuff. let's see, 85 Wasted Years. Says, with Screen Factory releasing so many titles, do you think they could do a collector's edition of the Garbage Pail Kids movie?
I think they could probably do that on a 4-pack or something. They could put some of the, what's that other one? The Munchies or something.
I don't know, man. I mean, they released the Final Terror and Final Exam by itself. I'd say you could release, Garbage Pail Kids by itself too.
I guess.
And if you're going to do it, hey, I'd release a special. If you're going to do a collector's edition of that, release like a 12-pack of the Garbage Pail Kids cards with it.
With it.
Yeah.
I've never seen Garbage Pail Kids. I know of it.
Dude, like, you all need to watch that. That would be an awesome one for y'all to do on the Two Against podcast.
Dana's got it on DVD, so I guess we'll watch it.
I got it for $5.
We'll watch it sometime.
She paid too much for it, even if I did. But it is one of those movies that's so, like, you sitting there watching it and you're like, this came out in a theater. How?
What about that Garbage Pail song, though? I've heard that played on.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's annoying as hell.
That whole movie's kind of annoying. And Sean Astin's brother, Mackenzie Astin, his career's never recovered from that. I don't think he was ever in another movie. Pretty sure he wasn't. So there's that. Some more news I guess we can dive into. But definitely Marilyn Burns, rest in peace. I don't think people really appreciated her like they should have, at these conventions. I think she was a big time horror icon, just as much as Leatherface, in my opinion.
Well, she was a final girl, if you want to call her that. And then she went through hell.
She looked like it too, man. She looked like she'd been through hell at the end of that movie.
I mean, you can say like some of the other chicks, but literally that was hell. For that character to survive through, that was just, an ordeal beyond anything anybody could think of.
The ABCs of Death 2, I think this is one you talked about. It's another collection of short films from a variety of filmmakers. Is being released simultaneously video on demand, limited theatrical release from Magnet and Draft House Films on October 2nd. It'll be available video on demand, and October 31st we'll have a limited theatrical release, and it's comprised of 26 alphabet-themed ways to die from some of the biggest names in horror. So you're looking forward to ABCs of Death 2, Electric Boogaloo?
No, I mean, me and Dana watched the first one, and it's like, a good 2 hours or so long.
God.
And there's probably like a handful, maybe less than 5 that were memorable as far as being good. The rest of them were just horrible.
Yeah.
So I think I'll save my 2 hours and not watch these.
Probably a good idea. Let's see. Let me go through here some more. Sharknado. Did you watch the new Sharknado? Did you like it?
I didn't watch. I've watched part of it. I watched up to the part where Tara Reid gets her hand bit off by a flying shark while she's still on it, hanging on, getting sucked out of an airplane. So that was the last part I watched.
Yeah. Another horror icon, in my opinion, passed away. We can mention that too. Of course, he had lived quite a long life. We're talking about the legendary makeup effects artist Dick Smith, who I think he was one of Tom Savini's mentors, and was one of those guys that was, he was kind of doing makeup effects before a lot of the prosthetics were really kind of common in films. And I know a lot of the ones the horror fans will remember would be The Exorcist, all the great makeup effects he did in The Exorcist. but he also did the TV movie of the Abraham Lincoln movie that Hal Holbrook, I think, was Abraham Lincoln. And if you just want to see the makeup that he did on that was amazing. You know, I mean, Dick Smith's makeup, he could make the people look like they actually look like the person. You know, that's really, really hard to do, but he did it quite a bit. Now I think he did. Didn't he do Mark? He did a bunch of shit with Hal Holbrook. I think he did Mark Twain too, or something.
Yeah, I think he did a one-man show as Mark Twain. He did. I think he also did like Altered States. I heard somebody talking about him. Somebody called him up and asked, a little kid in the 8th grade called him up and asked him a bunch of questions about it, and he'd stay on the phone for about an hour talking about it.
Welcome, Uncle Bill, on here.
Hi, I finally got this shit working. Isn't that neat?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
That cracker bottom cable, but you got to watch about them.
Buddy, I don't even want to get started on this.
We were just talking. We were just talking about Dick Smith, though, who passed away this past week.
Yeah, I think
know what you wanted. I mean, he was 92. He lived a long life. You can't really, say we're surprised that he passed away. He's 92 years old, but like I was telling Steve, he's one of those makeup effects guys that is highly underrated because he come along in a time when a lot of the stuff that they have out now wasn't available, and he had to kind of improvise and come up with this shit on his own.
It's funny though, because I was listening to. I was in the car and I was listening to an NPR interview after he died. They had like some makeup effects artist that was like, she came on there and was talking about him, and she basically said like he created the template, especially for like old age makeup. Like he was a guy that taught them everything that they knew about how to do that kind of. It's a layering thing where he came up with this idea where you could like take latex and like layer it out, and then you did some sort of you manipulated it somehow, and then you dried it and then layered it out again to make the old age. So basically he created the entire like format for how they do that kind of makeup.
Well, another one that he did was he did The Godfather, right? Didn't he? Didn't he do Marlon Brando's old age?
Yeah, he did. He did F. Murray Abraham and Amadeus. He won an Oscar for that. He did the age makeup on that, and then he did Marlon Brando, and I think he did Max Sydow in The Exorcist too, that made him look like he was.
And what I was talking about, he also did a TV movie, and I think you can look up photos of this. Hal Holbrook playing Abraham Lincoln. He did Abraham Lincoln. He made Hal Holbrook look exactly like Abraham Lincoln. It was freaky. It was freaky. So
yeah, there was. I don't remember if something tells me he did the makeup effects in those Dark Shadows movies too. I don't know for sure, like the aging makeup, like when Barnabas is on there and stuff, when he turns like into the old man, and I think it's House of Dark Shadows. I think he did all that stuff too.
Yeah.
I mean, So it's pretty.
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, definitely iconic makeup effects guy. I'm thinking he was probably in pretty bad health for a while. Hadn't heard anything on him in a long time, and again, he was 92 years old. So, but he lived a long life, and he was, like we were saying, he was Tom Savini's mentor. So, you know how many people Tom Savini inspired in the makeup world. So I think a lot of this goes back to Dick Smith.
Yeah, he certainly was probably more personable than Tom Savini. He's probably a nicer guy.
Anyway, we were just going through the news, though, Uncle Bill, and you can give us some feedback on some of this stuff. One of the big things that we just missed out on the last show was the whole crowdfunding thing that Rob Zombie's doing for his new movie 31. And we didn't really get to talk about that. I think that just came out right as we were putting the new show up a couple weeks ago. So we didn't really get to give our thoughts on the whole thing.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, exactly because he did an interview with Fangoria where he talks about it, but he never really explained why he was doing it. All he said was like, you could for $300 he'll follow you on Twitter, and I don't know, like for 1,000 he'll blow you. I don't know. There's something else though. There's like the more money you spend, the more like things he'll do. I don't know exactly, but the thing I can't figure out is why. Like, why the fuck would he need to do that or want to do that? Like, if he wanted to help his fans out, then he could just pick a bunch of them on Twitter or Facebook and then put their ass in the credits or something. Like,
Well,
why do they have to pay him?
I think for him, even though he didn't really say it in the interview, I think like he is a big time control freak. He wants to control every aspect of this movie, and he doesn't want to have anybody telling him how and what to do. So this kind of solves all that for him. And I want to be honest, man. Like, in my opinion, I think that this is not like a total ripoff for the fans. Like, there's some cool stuff you can get for not that much money, you know. I mean, especially if you consider how much getting a damn photo with Robert Englund was $365. You know, I mean, you can get for $50, you can get a signed DVD of the movie. That's not bad. I mean, if you're and Rob Zombie, I mean, like him or hate him, he's a big star. Like he is a. If he did a photo op at a convention, that would I mean, he could get 365 as well. So I think he could charge more for what he's doing with his crowdfunding thing, but he's not. So I'm not totally against it, to be honest.
Wow.
I just don't understand it. Like, I really don't. I mean, okay, as far as I know, he had complete creative control over Lords of Salem. Like, that's what he said. So what difference does it make? Like, if somebody else...
I mean, Anchor Bay
it?
or whoever gave him the money. So why don't Anchor Bay give him some money for this? So what's the fucking deal?
Well, I don't know. It looks like to me that he's wanting to release it himself, too. Maybe through his website and stuff like that. Maybe print up all the discs himself and distribute it himself.
Well, maybe it is like a hippie-ish kind of thing where he's trying to give back to the fans and stuff like that, but I don't know. Like I said, I don't know enough about the reasons why he's doing it. All I know is that it doesn't, like, the idea of other people fund your movie is something that, like, douchebags at Kickstarter do, so I don't know, like, if that translates well
Spike
to
Lee
somebody
did
like
it. Didn't Spike Lee do the same thing?
What
that.
did
Exactly,
he
yes.
make? I mean, what did he make out of Kickstarter? I don't remember.
He was financing, yeah, I forget what movie it was, but it was recently. Like, he was financing a movie off Kickstarter. He makes some of the weirdest fucking movies now. He made
If it
Old
gives
Boy,
him more,
like the Old Boy remake.
yeah, yeah, I actually saw that. I actually saw that movie not too long ago.
I thought it was.
You know, though, like I was saying,
I thought it was decent.
it was
I know, but isn't it
okay.
weird?
I didn't.
I mean, for him to...
Yeah, I didn't.
Right. It's you don't associate
I didn't
him
really
with that
enjoy
movie.
it that much.
I liked the original one. I thought the original one was, of course, a lot better. That's with most things.
Oh yeah,
But
that was a lot better.
What he did with it to make it more American and everything. You know, I heard so many people talk about how bad it was, but I was super surprised when I watched it, and it's not terribly bad, and I mean it doesn't embarrass it definitely doesn't embarrass the remake at all. It's got its own way of doing the same story. I thought it was a decent remake. Booyah!
It was okay. I wouldn't. It's nothing I'd want to watch again.
Right, I'm not gonna watch Old Boy. I mean, I all the time, but you know, for what it was good. And like you say, I probably won't be revisiting it, but it's definitely not a bad movie.
I gotta say though, like getting back to the Rob Zombie thing, and it's on fanback.com if you want to look for it. It's got all the rewards on here. I mean, a lot of the prices, man, like I guess it's just where we're seeing so much of the ass raping going on with a lot of this stuff, like the Robert Englund thing, which we were talking about, and a lot of other things. This just doesn't seem like, if you're a Rob Zombie fan, it doesn't seem like that bad of a deal. I mean, he's got.
Well, that might be true though, because the whole thing with Robert Englund and even just conventions in general, like you've always got it in the back of your mind that you're going to get fucked over. At least I do about like anything like this. So I mean that's the problem nowadays is it could be the greatest deal in the world, but everybody's kind of ruined it by being greedy assholes.
I mean, what about even food and shit at those places, man? You're talking about rip-offs. That's even worse.
Oh God, you don't even want to. Since you brought it up, I probably wouldn't want to bring this up. I went to a baseball game this past week, right? A Reds game. It's the first game like that I've been to in 10 years, maybe. My dad wanted to go, so we went. I have never in my life seen prices like they had at that fucking ball game. A bottle of water, just a regular bottle of water, $4.50 for a bottle of fucking water. A regular size like this. Okay, if you want nachos, they have nachos in the big ball cap, the plastic ball cap things. $17 for nachos.
What?
You want a hot dog? You can get a hot dog for $6.
Where do I sign up for that shit? I want me a helmet full of nachos for $30.
Don't even think about getting beer, Uncle Bill. You know how much a beer is?
I'd hate to ask.
$9.75 for a cup of beer.
God damn.
Well, okay. I think, here's the thing. I think everything is pretty much like that. Like me and Dad, speaking of Dad and going places with your dad for some reason, that seems to be the fucking theme. We went to see that Yes concert. You know how much they wanted for a shirt?
Yes.
I don't know how much.
$40 for a shirt. Any
It's
shirt.
It's 3 letters. How much? They want to fucking charge.
Yeah, I know. I've never seen like any place charge that much for a shirt. The beer was $7. Like if you wanted just like a cup of beer, it was $7. So yeah, I think it's across the board. Concerts, games, conventions, like you're fucked. Like if you go in there, they've got you. That's how they make their money.
But I mean, getting back to the Rob Zombie thing, though, man, like I think that that's not that bad, compared to a lot of the other stuff that we've seen.
I'll give him $5 to follow me on Twitter.
No, it's $300 to do that. That is the $300 to follow him on Twitter. That's kind of fucking silly. But I mean, a lot of the signed stuff. I mean, you can get a signed Blu-ray for $60, a signed DVD for $50. You can get a 31 director's chair if somebody wanted one for $350.
Woo!
You could get there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's under $50.
What about Sherry Moon? Can I get some private time with Sherry Moon?
You can get some for $155. You can get some of Sherry Moon's shaved pubes as she shaves them.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like how like Steve says that and then gets a shit beat out of him off camera.
Yeah. That's the dangers of this.
Okay. Here, with that whole thing with the Rob Zombie thing and paying money for all that and that things, I didn't get in on the conversation that preceded that though, which this is the thing that makes me like think it's a horrible idea, which is the Robert Englund thing. Now that I don't really know how the fuck that anybody defends that. Like I agree. Well, there have been some people that have though. Like even on like the thread that you started, they've been like,
I know. Yeah.
Man, how? Like seriously. Like the pictures.
There you go.
That's the only one I've seen.
There's a few of them. Nathan Milner's got one too, but this one's just interesting because part of his makeup's fucking coming off in it, and it just, I mean, to me, like
it says everything you need to know. Like he's dressed in a Flashback Weekend shirt, which looks ridiculous. His makeup's coming off. The backdrop looks like something out of like I don't know, like a Toto song or something. Like there's nothing about that picture that's right. And it's almost it's almost kind of sad. It's like selling out like the whole gimmick.
yeah. Well, the funny thing too is they were saying never again. This is the last time. What if, and it's a crazy thing, maybe Warner Brothers contacted him and like, we need the real Freddy back. Come back. Do you think he wouldn't come back?
No, he's never doing it again. That's what he said. That's what he told us.
He's never doing it again.
Never again.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm just trying to set the record straight. He's never going to do that again.
He's never sleeping again.
So
He's
never wearing makeup again.
Yeah, except
But,
if there's money involved, he will. Yeah.
yeah, if he gets paid, like if he gets another payday, like a big screen payday, not only is he going to get into makeup again, but by the time he goes to conventions again, he's going to raise his prices again for his fans. I guarantee it.
It's for the fans.
I'll pay $400 for the fans like that. Yeah. It's like Ric Flair retiring though. It's never ever gonna happen. Like he's gonna keep doing it.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, we were talking about it before. I mean, there's just so much wrong with, and you shouldn't even have to explain it. But like I was telling Steve earlier, at the end of the day, the person you gotta really bitch about the most or complain to the most is the people that pays it. And if they keep paying it, none of this stuff's ever gonna go away. It's just gonna keep getting worse and worse. The fans keep paying for it.
That's true, but it's kind of like I really look at it like a sickness at this point. Like
There's cinema sickness.
Exactly. There's some people that will just, there's something about them, their personality, where they obsessively have to have like everything related to some things, and he's definitely one of those icons. And like, there's people that will always pay for shit related to Freddy Krueger, and they kind of take advantage of that. That's what they do. So I don't know, like, how much of it's their fault if they're fucking crazy in that way.
Yeah. So. Anyway, I guess continuing on a little bit, let's see, what else we got to talk about on here?
I got a story.
Tell us, Steve, tell us.
I mean, I know you guys will like it, but I kind of don't. Eli Roth's Green Inferno has been pulled from release. It will not be coming to theaters September 5th.
Told you, motherfuckers. I told you.
I was wanting to go see it at the drive-in. It was coming to the drive-in.
Hey. Let me tell you something. I knew it.
Let me tell you something.
God.
Let me lay it on the line here for you right now, because I mean, this has even though like Eli Roth is not high on my list. It had nothing to do with Eli Roth. Why it didn't come out in theaters. It had to do with the content. That's not a mainstream movie, in any way.
I think
you'll never see a movie like that in 2,000 screen theater. It's just not going to happen.
No, I think you could see it in a couple.
He could have pulled that off about 7 years ago, but I think that time has passed, and he probably could have got a movie like that out around the time Hostel came out. But you can't. First of all, the horror genre is deader than fuck, and second of all, you're not going to put a movie like that out in the middle of the horror genre being dead as shit. Like, it's just not going to happen. And people aren't looking to release that right now.
The horror genre is about as dead as I've seen it since we started the show, I believe. I mean, you almost have to fight to get a horror movie out in the theater at all.
What about See No Evil 2? I thought that might have come to the theaters.
I thought so. No. I would have thought so as well, but no.
Now that one makes the most sense out of all those movies. That, like, the Leprechaun movie and the other stuff like that coming out that could have been in the theater, but no.
Yeah, I mean, why not, dog? Like, I don't get that. I mean, October comes around. Horror is on everybody's mind in October. There should at least be 3 or 4. There should be at least one new horror movie every week in the theater in October and some in September.
What is coming out like for around
Jack
Halloween?
and shit. And Jack left town.
Whoa.
Yeah, he went there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really don't know. There's got to be
I-
at least 1, 2 things.
I'll look it up as you guys jibber jabber back and forth,
Jibber jabber.
which Steve
Well-
loves doing.
I will say that I was actually this is kind of odd, but I was actually looking forward to that movie. I saw the poster of it up in a fucking theater, and I was like, I didn't expect that. Like, I never expected to see a poster of that movie around anywhere in this area. Like, so I was kind of excited. Like, there's going to be a mainstream kind of cannibal film come out in fucking Prestonsburg or wherever, like Eastern Kentucky.
There's going to have a show at David's school. We were showing there.
That's so cute. They're gonna rent out the Pierre school up there and show it to all the Christian like missionaries.
I'm showing Dana the Country Boys documentary.
That is a good one though.
I've seen that one like once.
Yeah.
You know, Chris and Cody.
I just looked through September. No horror movies in September. Let's continue to October.
Oh my!
But one thing that I wanted to mention to Uncle Bill because he didn't. We talked about Guardians of the Galaxy earlier.
Yeah.
And I know you go see movies every once in a while in the theater. Man, I gotta say, you probably should check that movie out. I think you would be kind of surprised.
That's what everybody says. I mean, I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about that movie yet.
Yeah,
I
mean,
probably actually will go.
It seems like something special, actually, like something different. You know, it might. And I'm hoping something like that will come along for the horror world, but we'll have to wait and see. There is one movie though that I did see on here. I don't know if this is coming out in a wide theatrical release, but on October the 3rd, Annabelle is
Oh.
that one's
That's the
coming
one.
out
Yeah.
October 3rd. I'm continuing on here. The rest of them.
Are they?
There's
Am I
another-
wrong? Or are they not making that movie and also like a sequel to The Conjuring?
I think that was the plan, but I don't know if that other sequel they've even started on that. Yeah.
Well, there was a lawsuit, so I don't know how that turned out.
Oh my God! There's something called Dracula Untold. I think
Yeah,
I think I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah, I like that. I want to go see that. I think it might.
That comes out on the 17th of October.
I think
That's
that's
bound to be-
part.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Steve.
that's part of the reboot. They're having a plan to. Universal's going to make their own cinematic universe, and it's going to be with the Universal monsters. Well, actually, I think it's with the new Mummy movie. It starts with.
But that is it, though.
Make
I mean,
room for Mummy.
I don't see anything else on here. There's a movie called Ouija. That's like a Ouija board or something, but it doesn't really even say that's a horror movie. It's like an action adventure thriller. So
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do the soundtrack to that one. Ouija, Ouija, Ouija.
don't go messing with the Ouija board.
You can go like yes, no, yes, no.
That was a classic. But yeah, I mean, they also have something about Paranormal Activity 5, but I don't think that comes out until next year.
I hope it never comes out.
Man.
Jesus.
I never did see the what was it called, the Lost Ones or something like that.
Marked ones.
Marked.
Yeah.
It
You
was
should
the,
never see it.
Hispanic version.
Listen, honestly, I actually enjoyed the. I guess it was the 4th one. I didn't think it was that bad. A lot of people were bitching about it.
Well, I mean, seriously, the marked ones makes the 4th one look like fucking, I don't know, like Citizen Kane. It really does.
Makes the 4th one look like the first one.
It does. Makes the
Let's
3rd one
see.
look like the 2nd one.
I think that's about all for the news, though. We do have some questions. You guys want to get into some of the questions?
No.
Bring them on.
Uh,
No.
No
First
questions.
question, baby. First question.
No questions.
Jace up. He wanted to know if I was dipping, and no, I don't dip.
Yeah.
Uh,
I got some skull over here.
I don't do the skull, baby. When I spit in the eyes of the people that piss me off, baby. He also wants to know what do we think about WWE Network subscriber numbers. I guess we could go into wrestling briefly.
Oh yeah, some good stuff in
I
wrestling.
bet they're not good. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, they're only 770,000. So
Yeah, it's only like 40,000 more than April, I think.
well, they lost. They lost I think they lost a bunch and then gained a bunch back. So
There's all kinds of fuck ups with that network, from what I've heard.
I don't think it's that bad. I just don't think that. I mean, that's a niche market, and I don't know what they're going to do to.
Well, the last thing I heard about it was they were going to take it like it was going to be international in like
Right.
certain markets and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's
which
coming
really
up.
is the only. That's the only thing they can do now. I mean, they kind of blew their load with the
They're doing
stuff here.
they're doing a great job with the network. I think it's like Steve said, though. It's just that they had they were making like too big. They had too big of a number, thinking that
Yeah.
a million people. That's a lot of people to subscribe $9.99 a month.
Well,
Here's
also,
the thing.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just like, the thing about that is too, and somebody brought this point up. There's no way to advertise that, or at least they're not trying to advertise it on anything else except the show. And it's like the people that would be watching that show are not the fucking people you need to advertise it to. They would
Yeah.
already know that it exists. Like that's not the audience that you need to reach, really. But for some reason, you got Triple H coming out there and fucking like doing the whole on the WWE network. It's like everybody knows you're not gonna get anybody else that way.
And starting with SummerSlam, I don't know if you know this, Uncle Bill, but after SummerSlam, or maybe at SummerSlam, all of WWE is going to be the WWE Network logo now. That's going to be the entire, like, they're changing the belts. All of one of the pay-per-views is going to have that WWE Network on it. So they're doing stuff like that. But I think something that they should try, I don't know if they're not doing it because maybe it'll piss the network off or what, USA Network. End Raw early on USA Network, continue it to WWE Network. Have something happen where you're like, we've got to go tune over to WWE Network. Do shit like, why don't they do shit like that? Like, that makes the most sense to me. And also, the pay-per-views, make the pay-per-views must-see. Don't do all you big surprises on Raw, like they have been doing. Do some of them on. I mean, I know they'll do some of them on Raw, but do some of them on the pay-per-view too.
It makes sense, but
they should know that.
The truth of the matter is what you said the last time, which is like, it doesn't matter until wrestling gets popular. It would be like having a fucking horror network right now. It's like that time to have done that would have been 2005, 2006, something like that. Until they start doing something with it, it's not gonna matter.
Mm.
Well,
Every gimmick in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a way though they can still make it, and I think that they're doing that too. They're cutting a lot of the costs with the employees in the network and all that. They can still make money at it, but not have the costs be where they're going to be losing money on it.
They in Canada, they signed a 10-year agreement. They're actually going to have the WWE Network on a cable system, so it's going to be a cable channel. So, I mean, they've got to be making some money off of that.
Those assholes love their wrestling, though. Those crazy Canadians.
Craft dinners and wrestling.
I wonder what the hell it is about Canadians and wrestling.
I don't know.
It's a boo respect.
Speaking of which, they fired the shit out of Alberto Del Rio. I know you had to see that.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. He was awful. He's a boring motherfucker.
Apparently, he also like smacks the piss out of people backstage.
All he did was call Speedy Gonzalez, and some motherfucker he smacked the shit out of him.
That's so
somebody
awesome.
Called him Speedy Gonzalez.
He was something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That would be awesome.
Hey, Pepe, go get me a burrito. And he just like went
I
off on
swear
it.
to God, it was something like that. Like somebody said something racially to him, and he just smacked the piss out of him. It's like one of the social media guys backstage.
Yeah.
You know what though, man? Like Ricardo and Alberto are both free agents, so that would be a good. If you're, of course, TNA is probably not going to exist in 2 or 3 months, but that would
Yeah.
be. I think that'd be a good. Yeah, because honestly, like those guys needed each other. When they broke those guys up, that's when Alberto Del Rio was fucking. He was done.
He Robert Rodriguez or Robert Rodrigo, whatever fucking, he was more over
Robert
than
Rodriguez.
freaking Del Rio.
Robert Rodriguez was in there.
Whatever his name.
Damn.
Ricky Ricardo,
Yeah.
he was bigger than that other dude.
Yeah, but they needed. I think if they're cutting costs, Alberto
Yeah.
Del Rio's a guy that nobody'd even miss him.
No, he won't be mentioned again, and nobody give two shits.
No.
No.
Nobody cares.
I mean, they
didn't-
hadn't
I
done
mean-
anything with him.
Right.
Yeah,
He was already buried 6 months ago, man. I mean, it didn't matter.
or a year ago. I mean, they haven't really done anything with him in years. So
But what the hell were we talking about? Oh, questions. Yeah, there's questions.
yeah, there's more questions on here. Let me look. Let's see. John Grant. What now?
Nice.
John Grande was wanting to know if we think Pamela Springsteen will ever do a horror convention. I think we've talked about that before, but I think she'll eventually do one, and then she'll probably realize how much extra money she can make, and she'll probably do a lot of them. That's how it goes normally.
Everybody I've ever said wouldn't do a convention has done a convention, so yeah, I think she probably will. Like, there's too much money in it. I don't think anybody. Do you know anybody that hasn't done a convention? That's something like, at some point or another, people were like, "Oh, we need to get this person."
I don't really think that Pamela Springsteen would even be that big of a deal. Like, I'm sure some people would care, but it's not one of those deals like, when they first got. Because, honestly, I remember, and I would thought this guy would have been a bigger deal, too, when they brought, what was the guy's name? John Moser, I think, that from Dawn of the Dead. The airplane zombie, wasn't that his name? John Paul or John Moser or something like that?
Oh, Glasser. Was it Glasser? John Paul?
I don't know
Oh,
what his name was. But he was the big, like everybody made a big deal because he'd never done a show before. Nobody knew where the hell he was. And Horror Hound got him, and nobody gave a shit. And that was Dawn of the Dead. Like, that's a classic. So I'm willing to bet that even if Pamela Springsteen did a show, maybe 5 or 6 people would care, but she'd probably be sitting there twiddling her thumbs most of the time.
I'd say she'd do well the first day, and then that would probably be about it. Like maybe the first show, but I don't think there's a big market for that to carry over.
Yeah, and I love those movies she's in, but I just don't. I don't think there'd be that many people that'd care.
Seriously though, can you think of anybody that hasn't done a convention that you were like, this person needs to do a convention? Think about it.
I'd like to see Wes Craven do one.
Well, I mean, he's done them.
Yeah, he just does them in
Not
L.A. though. I mean, I don't even count that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep. I can't think of anybody. I really can't.
Yeah.
Now, hell, they got Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, what the hell you do after that?
That's true. Let's see. I don't really see. Let's see. I'm looking on. Anybody got any more questions? Post them now, or we will go on because we're going to do a review here too, Uncle Bill.
Oh hell.
One that I know you've seen, you watched recently. I just watched it today.
Curtains.
Curtains.
Oh.
So if
Next
nobody
week
else
we're
has got
going to
any
do carpet.
Lamp.
Yeah,
That's
I love
the plan.
Lamp.
Lamb.
That's the plan.
Here's what I'm getting ready to watch, though, here in a little while. It's
Whoa.
the Criterion one.
Scanners.
Oh,
Did you get it off of the Barnes and Noble buy one get one sale or
I
whatever?
did.
The only bad thing is like, when they have that sale, like the regular price is like what, $40 a Blu-ray
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it ends up being 20.
Yeah, you're really paying about what regular
Yeah.
Blu-ray would cost.
But those Blu-rays are fucking insanely expensive anywhere, though.
They
Like
are.
I checked Amazon and Deep Disc. It's like $34.
So anyway, I don't see any other. I mean, we got some people asking about shit, Friday the 13th series, stuff like that. I just don't care about that shit. I mean, hell, I don't. We've talked about that shit to death. Here's something we haven't talked about. Don May Jr. is, let me tell you something. This is
Let me tell you something.
This is amazing work right here, Don May Jr. called. This the Blu-ray Death of Curtains, the special death, baby. And you did a great job on it, baby. The transfer on this fucking thing was top notch, if you will.
Top notch.
It really was.
The thing about that movie to me, though, was that I know I've already tried to watch that movie in like the shitty version where you couldn't see anything going on, and I don't remember anything about it from that.
Last time I tried to watch it was when it was a VHS rip of it or something. That was the last time.
Well, they put it out on DVD, but I don't know what the transfer for that was. But I mean, it was definitely a lot drab looking.
Yeah, it was horrible. But I didn't really pay any attention to it because of that. But this version of it is like, it's so well done that it becomes like a classic, really, because then you can see what the hell's going on. Like, you can notice the parts of the movie and like what was happening. It really is a really good slasher movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't remember. I know I'd watched this before, but I didn't really remember the damn movie hardly at all. Like, I didn't know anything about it. And the whole plot of the movie is John Vernon's kind of this horror film director, and he's trying to fill the plot of the star of the star of the movie. And they have this whole, I guess, towards the end of the movie, you kind of figure out why they did that. But like at the beginning of the movie, Samantha Eggar is wanting the role, and I guess, I don't know, a lot of these actors go hardcore into the method acting and stuff like that. She actually agreed to be put in like a mental asylum or something so she could prepare for the role in the movie. And they didn't really go anywhere with that. Like, until right at the end, and you kind of like, oh, okay. I don't know why they spent so long on that part in the movie. I was just kind of like, because it didn't really go anywhere. And then, like, probably about 20 minutes into that, he gets like 4 or 5 other girls to come meet with him at his house or whatever, and try for the role in his movie. And it's pretty much just a standard slasher film. After that, one by one, they get murdered off violently and shit.
Yeah, the real star of that movie, to be honest, is that mask. Like, that's the thing that takes that movie from being kind of ordinary to being extremely fucking creepy. Like, throughout is the mask they have in that. I guess it's called like the hag mask.
Well, they're watching some of the special features. One of somebody like in the special effects or somebody quit, so they brought in another guy. And there, at one part in the script, they were actually going to have like a banshee. That's what the mask was originally going to be, part of a banshee costume or something. But that they changed the script, of course, with money issues and some other things. So it turned out to just be a mask instead of like a good special effect.
I thought the mask was pretty cool looking, though. It was like definitely kind of creepy. And the little doll that's in the movie is creepy too.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
And this was like, what year did this come out? Like in the early 80s?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know the doll wasn't really a killer doll or anything, but like this was before like Child's Play and dolls and all that stuff.
It was.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was kind of thrown in there in the way of like in Deep Red. They just kind of throw a creepy fucking doll in there that's like,
Yeah, just because they can.
yeah, which makes sense. It works somehow or another.
And I mean the film looks. I mean, of course, the transfer and everything brings out all the stuff that was missing in the drab version that was previously released. It looks beautiful. Got a lot of atmosphere and mood lighting and all kinds of cool stuff. So pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome to see what Don May does with these movies because, you know, Synapse don't really come out with. I mean, they come out with like maybe 2 or 3 big releases a year that people are really looking forward to. But I think that they do it right, man. I mean, like Scream Factory, they come out with so much shit you lose track of what in the hell it is, like what all they come out with, and you can't afford all that shit either. Like,
There's something though, like there's something more special about Synapse films than Scream Factory. I don't know if it's because of the output, but they always do like look amazing, and like the packaging is amazing, and the whole thing was really, really good. That movie though in particular, I can't wait to see what they do with Prom Night now. I don't even fucking like Prom Night, but I just want to see how he like fixes it, because that movie is one of those movies, a perfect example of like you can't see shit during like the end scene where they're actually at the prom and everything. Some of the most like poorly lit scenes and shit in that movie. I can't wait to see what he actually does with that.
Yeah, I think that one comes out in September or something, right?
September 9th.
Yeah.
Steve's already pre-ordered it. I guarantee it.
Well, Dana knows. Dana's getting it, so she knows it. Prom Night.
Yeah, that's one of Dana's favorites, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but I mean, this is kind of give you an idea of what Prom Night will be like. I mean, the transfer on this is pretty astonishing, actually. I mean, we've never really seen even a decent DVD release of Curtains, so it's pretty cool that Synapse brought this thing out on Blu-ray, and it's a 2K restoration. So,
whoa.
Here in a couple years,
that ain't nothing, son. I got the Death Spa 2K restoration over here.
Yeah,
which you need to be paying attention to.
I heard that one looked good too. Who said?
I mean, it looks.
They're saving.
Who said you couldn't polish a turd?
You definitely can. That movie looks way better than anything called Death Spa deserves to look like. I'll tell you.
They're saving the 4K for graduation day.
That's probably true.
You know the upcoming Texas Chainsaw.
It is true.
The upcoming Texas Chainsaw Blu-ray is a 4K restoration. It's from the 4K restoration.
Speaking of which, what did you think about the box set?
I think it's a big waste of money.
Dude,
anybody that buys that, that's fucking dumb. It's the same.
I want a cardboard truck.
That just looks fucking awful. Like, I can't even. There's no way to defend how that looks either. Like, it looks like some sort of project you do in middle school or something. Like you're trying to do some sort of home ec.
It looks like BJ and the Bears truck.
No, the thing I was saying too is it really doesn't have any damn thing at all to do with the movie. Really, I mean, it's that truck at the end of the movie that has no. I mean, it just doesn't. I don't know why they thought of all the stuff they could have done. Why would you do that for a limited edition? Do a chainsaw or something. Do the van.
I couldn't figure that out either. Yeah.
Armadillo.
I mean, the biker. I mean, the truck driver.
The hitchhiker.
I don't get it, but whatever. I mean, whatever. They'll probably sell out of them. That's the thing.
Sure
people are so stupid.
But what is in it is what I want to know. I didn't even look. Like, I just saw the way it looked. I was like, it's $100. I'm not looking to buy it. So, but what is it?
There's like a poster reproduction in it.
There's an apron. I saw that.
Yeah, there's like a Leatherface apron, which I'm sure is going to be shitty looking, and just the set, the Blu-ray set that everybody's going to get. So,
An apron.
That's it. There's not any
That's it.
like disc in it or anything.
There's not any exclusive discs in it. I think it's all. Am I right, Steve? It's all the same set that it's a 4-disc set that's coming out that you can just get for $20.
I thought there were 2 sets. There was one that was like $30, and there was one that was more expensive.
There's that Black Maria set that has the apron and the fucking box.
Well, I thought there was that was one, but I thought there was more than. I thought there was the regular, cheaper version, and then there was another one that maybe came with something else that was around $60 or something. But maybe I'm mistaken.
I didn't know about that one. I mean, if there is, I haven't heard about it. So
They must have taken that cue from the Nightbreed shit then, if that's true.
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess that's it, though. I mean, you guys got anything else you want to mention on here? Curtains. I think we all highly recommend that one. That's
Right
fairly
on.
priced too. That's the thing. Like it was what, $12 and something on sale.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
$13, $16 and a half
Why?
with
Why?
shipping.
Why can't Scream Factory do stuff like that? Why? Why is all your shit
They don't put anything on
26
sale.
26, 26, 30 some, 26 to 30 some odd dollars? It'd be a cold day in hell if I spend $26 on Final Terror on Blu-ray. I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen.
You don't want to
Man.
spend $26 on Deadly Eyes or whatever.
Come on, man. They got weenie dogs dressed up as rats. And Blu-ray.
That would be awesome to see, but I don't want to
They
pay.
eat a baby.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Synapse, their stuff's fairly priced. It's excellent. The video quality is amazing on it, and there's a lot of special features on it too. I guess we could mention that. They have the making of Curtains, a 2014 retrospective with interviews from the director and the stars of the movie. You've got audio commentaries with the director and the stars of the movie. Bunch of stuff on here, tons of stuff. I just don't feel like reading it right now because I'm lazy. There's all kinds of shit on there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So check that out. But I guess that's it. It's getting late. I know Steve's probably ready to pass out. It's about 2 hours past his bedtime. So,
Yeah, I'm about dead.
but yeah, it's been a good show. Uncle Bill, appreciate you joining us, boys. It's always
Oh,
good.
I'm happy to be here.
It's always good to hear from my old buddy Uncle Bill. So we will be back next week. We'll figure something out to do, and keep it creepy until then. I'm the Creepy Kentuckian.
I'm Uncle Bill.
Big plan.
Check us out.
Bye.
DEADPIT.
.com.
Esquire.
Steve's got to figure something out to say. So.